Hey, Bilal, it's great to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us. Just so everybody knows, Bilal Motley is a local filmmaker here in Philadelphia, and his film Midnight Oil premiered at the Black Star Film Festival and has since played internationally. Bilal, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to us? Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from.
Yes, thanks for having me, Bettina. Yes, my name is Bilal Motley, writer director of Midnight Oil. Born in Mississippi, grew up all over the country, settled in my dad's hometown, Chester, Pennsylvania, which is about 13 miles south of Philadelphia, where I worked at the refinery for nearly 15 years. So, yeah, been trying, working in film, started as a screenwriter. That's how I met Bettina, and yeah, and then ultimately led to this film.
Could you could you tell me a little bit more about the film? So the film's called Midnight Oil. Tell me what it's about, and then talk to me about what inspired you to make it.
Yeah, in 2019, a giant explosion happened at like 4 in the morning. I was working at the refinery where we process crude oil and make it into gasoline and other products. And I was working here. It was another, night shift I got through and heard a giant explosion. And we all could have died. All of South Philadelphia could have been devastated with hydrofluoric acid if it was real, if it wasn't contained the way it was. So, my friends lost their jobs. We were all depressed, and you know, I had to do something. I talked to my brother one day, and he said, He said, "How you feeling?" I said, "I'm not good." And he said, "Why aren't you filming this?" I said, "You're right." So that's when I started doing it, and then that's when I reached out to you. Like you talking to you really helped set the tone. You gave me organization. You gave me confidence. Like you always believed in me, and like that really meant a lot. So like those initial meetings with you kind of got me focused, and yeah, so I made the film and just yeah, I kind of learned on my way. Like for years, I spent years begging, uh, let's say, major organizations, screenwriting fellowship, to allow me to make a film. And you always told me like, just do it. So I got tired. Like I was like nearly 40, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm tired of begging for permission from people who don't understand me or where I come from. So I just started doing it, figured out how to frame, I figured out how to interview people and and so I just kind of just figured it out and just did it.
This is the formerly Sunoco refinery, now PES refinery, Philadelphia Energy Solutions in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Wow, look at this place. I never imagined, like, how did I end up here? You know? I'm not good with my hands. Always wanted to be an artist. But now I'm here after 15 years.
Started when I came here. They were working on uniforms and putting our name badges. They said, "What is your name?" I said, "BL." My name is Bilal. But that first day in 2006 when I started, that was the first day I compromised who I am. I was making myself smaller, less ethnic. My name is Bilal Najee Islam Motley. It's not BL. But I didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable with my name, so I put BL on there so they could pronounce it and make it easy, so I can assimilate, make myself small. But that's not who I am. That was the first day of compromising myself.
This documentary film that you ended up making, which I find to be incredibly important, deals a lot in a very like forward way, like without cowering away from it. It deals with this important, like this tension that's happening, that has been happening here in Philadelphia between the refinery, right, and what happens in the refinery in terms of the pollution that it causes, right, and then the neighborhood that surrounds it. And I found it just really revealing and amazing that you decided to feature your experiences, right, as a refinery worker and the experiences of your coworkers, and also that you spoke to people in the neighborhood, right? And that you spoke to activists. And it's a very personal film. And I wanted to hear more from you about just about that duality, that experience, that to me it feels like a binary, right? Between your experience as a worker in this refinery and your co-workers, people that you've worked with for 15 years, and then the relationship that you built with the people in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah, working there, it was like a double consciousness, and and it's all people of color know this in this country. I was there just fitting in, just trying to like, okay, like that's why I use my name when I talked about I use BL instead of my full name Bilal Naji Islam Motley. But on my name patch I had BL. I wasn't really myself there, but I found a way to fit in and not be like the angry quote angry black men that they didn't like there. So I figured out a way to be likable there, but also harboring all these feelings that I kept to myself about. I was learning more about the environment, and learn. But it wasn't until after the explosion I took an effort to meet the people in the community, and they looked just like the people where I grew up in Chester, Pennsylvania, mostly African American, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. And part of me, I'm very self-aware that I didn't do anything. I knew it was wrong. I knew working there it wasn't completely good, but I was going on my vacations, going around the world, doing whatever I wanted to do, earning a living, and I did nothing about it. So I'm aware. I guess I'm being hard on myself. It was convenient for me. Like, okay, the place is closing down. Oh, let me start looking into these things that I always felt. So I guess it's me just being hard on myself. But yeah, just learning more about the community and the backlash I received because I finally was allowed to be myself. Say how I felt about what we do with the refinery, and I lost a lot of supposed friends, like maybe like 1,000 people. But we know everybody in there, and that was difficult. The woke part of me wishes, I don't care about them, but it does hurt. I'm a sensitive, that, but I'm a sensitive person. So, but yeah, it was a heck of an experience. The year this past June was the year anniversary of explosion. I just wanted to hide. I didn't want anybody to talk to anybody. People were reaching out to me, but it is still kind of painful. And I do feel from some of my friends that are, that had to leave, go around the country and the world, lost their jobs. But I'm glad I did what I did. I did it for my son, who wasn't born yet. He's 1 now, and my daughter, who's 9. To say something that, number one, that I was here and Daddy made something. He finally got brave and did something. And number two, when they start to deal with this existential crisis of climate change, which they're gonna really be the ones dealing with it. They can know what their daddy thought, because I lost my mom when I was 6. So I always wonder, what does she think about this? I wish she was here. So it's like a document to them, and after anything other than that, I couldn't control. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredibly powerful, and I think that's what makes the film powerful, right? Because the film definitely, it's a very personal film, and but it also deals with this massive issue that affects, it nearly devastated the entire city of Philadelphia, and then continues to affect the entire city in a lot of different ways, right? Both in the sense that like a lot of people lost their jobs with the closing of the refinery, and that the communities in the perimeter of the refinery have been dealing with the environmental fallout of having the refinery in their neighborhood. So the film is at both at the same time extremely personal, and makes space for the experiences of other people, and in that way, I find it to be really unique. So I guess I have two follow-up questions. I'm going to just put them together. So, what are your plans with this film in particular? And have any surprises come your way from having made this film?
Wow. Since it's you, I'm going to be super honest. I was good after I finished the film, after I finished filming. Before the editing, I was good. I made something. Like at this age, like 40 December, like I'm good. I did something. I didn't get in my own way. So I was good. So that ties into the next question. Surprises is the response. People reaching out to me in Brazil, and the Black Star experience, that was really cool. And yeah, I was surprised because yeah, you just critique. You know how it is as an artist. You just critique. You don't know us as good. You're just really hard on yourself, and seeing people respond to it was cool. And being vulnerable, it was really hard. Just people, it's like somebody reading my journal. You might have had a journal when you was younger. Do you want people to read your journal? No. This was like a journal. I was really honest. People aren't used to seeing me, so it was really kind of embarrassing when it premiered. Like, it was kind of weird. My wife was like, "Why aren't you telling?" I didn't tell anybody. She was the one telling everybody it was coming out. So.
That sounds amazing. I'm really excited about this project, and I'm excited to see it change and grow, right? And that you're inspired by what's going on, which is the mark of a great artist, right? You're responding to the world around you, and you're also pushing against it, and you're demanding that it change, and it's wonderful. It's super exciting, and I love this film. And let me ask you a question: when will it be available for people in Philly to see? Philly and beyond, just people to stream it from their own homes.
Still working on that. Had some talks with discussions with public TV, but I don't know we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, we're still looking at different film festivals and things like that.
Okay.
But it's hard for me. This is the honest zone. It's really hard for me because like I said before, I'm good with the film. You know what I mean? This is for my son and my daughter. But I'm starting just like, let's put it out there. You know what I mean? Because that's what I learned after all these years trying to be a writer and a filmmaker. Like, do it for yourself. Anything other than that, you can't control. So, but yes, I am. I'm starting to put it out there more, for the world to see. So.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. I look forward to it being out there, and I'm really glad that it's in the festival circuit now. And I'm happy that you came to the studio today to talk to us about your film and your work as an artist. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.